Tennessee Titans at home this week on a 5-game losing streak that at least has preserved their spot atop the 2026 draft. Got that going for them at least. In turn, they look like a Shaq free throw to Seattle. Hawks in need of an easy rebound after coming up short in their heavyweight bout versus the Rams.
Darnold in trouble. Jump throw intercepted for the 4th time.
Sam Darnold really needing a pick-me-up game. Threw for plenty of yards versus LA, but no touchdowns against 4 interceptions for a 45 rating. Easily his worst day on the job as a Seahawk. Seattle's offense only 19 points after being good for 27 plus 3 in a row prior to last week.
Zips one and it's his 3rd interception. Kitchens with his 2nd of the day.
Titans defenders would seem like good rebound types. Only a few teams are giving up more points per game. Their secondary, a member of the 100 rate allowed club, but there is a for what it's worth to mention. They do have it in them to make it tough on an offense. They held Houston to 16 last week, and while the Texans' offense isn't explosive, it's the 4th time they've held a team to 21 or fewer points this year.
Top of your screen, he goes the other way, and almost broken up. Baker back there, and it's 4th down.
Held the Texans to 4 for 13 on 3rd down, 1 for 3 in the red zone, held them to 75 rush yards on just 3.6 a run, held Davis Mills to less than 7 yards per attempt, a 90 rate, and sacked him 4 times.
Mills is going to be sacked. Back at the 40, and Arden Key closed on him.
So they'd welcome more of the same on that side of the ball in general. Performing on that level versus Seattle's offense will be a challenge. Darnold, 0 sacks versus the Rams, 44 pass attempts too. Only got hit 3 times. Repeating myself, he's taken 3 sacks in a game just once. He's hard to get to. Tennessee's secondary did give up 274 yards to Mills, no picks, 42 yards allowed to Xavier Hutchinson, 51 to Dalton Schultz, 55 to Jaden Higgins, 92 and a TD to Nico Collins, which makes it seem like JSN is lined up for another big game. Forget the 20s and 50s, Jackson has been making it rain C-notes all year. Smith and Jigba with yet another 100-yard game in their loss, 9 catches.
Looking downfield for Smith and Jigba, who plucked it with one hand. JSN.
That's 100 plus in 7 of 10 for Smith and Jigba for those counting, with a low of 79. Cooper Kupp just 23 yards last week, Rashid Shaheed 27, A.J. Barner 10 catches, 70 yards.
Darnold keeps it alive and finds A.J. Barner. Barner with a 1st down as he gets 13. Barner, who's been his favorite target today.
And Kenneth Walker with 44 receiving yards to go along with 67 rush yards and a ground TD, respectable 4.2 a carry.
Walker looking for a hole. He's got it. Kenneth Walker into the secondary. 26 yards for Walker.
Seattle's offense struggled versus a top-shelf Rams defense. They typically have an easier time finding the paint. Their defense does not come in rattled, though. Held an upper-tier Rams offense to 21 points, 2 for 11 on 3rd down.
Handed off to Williams, and Williams is stopped by Nwosu. Seattle's defense once again. They forced the punt.
So only the Bucs have put up more than 23 points against them all year. Matthew Stafford was on a historic tear, and then they hold him to 130 yards, a measly 4.6 per attempt, held Devontae Adams to 1 yard, 1 catch.
3rd and 6. Stafford looks to throw off his back foot, incomplete. Adams got tangled up with Witherspoon.
It was a touchdown, but still, if they can hold one of the league's elite quarterbacks to those kind of digits, how much trouble will they have with Cam Ward? Under 200 yards passing, just 5.2 an attempt last week. He did avoid throwing a pick, 1 touchdown, an 87 rating.
Pollard the back. 2nd and goal. Ward rolling, throwing, catch. Got the end zone. Van Jefferson and a Titans touchdown.
Ward took 3 sacks versus Houston, which was a good day for him, but that's still 5 straight games with 3+ sacks taken for the most sacked quarterback in the league.
He's got to get rid of it. He is sacked. The ball is out.
Seattle has an elite pass rush group, but they did not get to Stafford once and only hit him 3 times, so that band of brothers is expecting to leave a bigger dent in this one. The only Rams pass catcher their DB DBs had any issues with, Puka Nacua gave up 75 yards to him. Tight end Chig Okonkwo, the only Titan to grab 32-plus yards. He ended his day with 56.
Ward throws deep, and it's caught inside the 10. Okonkwo, the tight end.
On the ground, Ward led them with 30 rush yards, 3 attempts. Tony Pollard held to 22 yards on his 10 tries. Seattle's front not only left Hollywood sackless, they also gave up to Kyren Williams over 7 yards per carry, 91 yards.
They run it with Williams, and he's got a touchdown.
Seahawks up 11-8 overall versus the Titans. They have one playoff meeting, too, when Seattle was in the AFC and the Titans were in Houston playing as the Oilers. 1987 season OT thriller.
In overtime, Mike Rozier overcame a painful shoulder injury to gain 27 grueling yards. Critical catches by Highsmith, Ray Wallace, and Drew Hill carried Houston into field goal range, where destiny delivered one man a shot at redemption and one team a chance for glory.
Tony Zendejas with the kick of his life. On the line here. Snap back, ball down, kick up, on its way. And it is gone! It is gone! The Oilers win in overtime, defeating Seattle 23-20, advancing to Denver.
In 1987, the Houston Oilers had taken on the titanic struggle of an NFL season with youth, guts, and desire. During the season, they discovered an inner strength and a renewed sense of purpose. And when it all came together, they were no longer just a football team. The Houston Oilers were winners.
It's a battle between the Kings of the North, Pittsburgh on the road in this one. Steelers at 6-4 after taking care of business versus Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh, after starting 4-1 and being 1-3 in their last 4 games, needed this one as well.
They are off to Chicago to take on the 7-3 Bears. At some point, there can't be any more nail left to bite off, right?
And it is good! The comeback kids, Chicago Bears, do it again!
5 of Chicago's 7 wins this year have drawn the attention of Detective McNulty. It's must-see TV because you never know how they'll pull it off next. Here's the running tally: a blocked field goal, late-game fumble recovery, crazy long TD pass, big TD run from the quarterback, last week's wire job, a huge kickoff return that set up a game-winning field goal, and covered for a faulty offense.
Duvernay, look at this! Across the 50 and a huge return!
Bears O only able to muster 19 points. They have a 25-point per game average. Caleb Williams unable to build off his nice Week 10 outing. Week 11, 16 of 32 passing for just 6 yards per attempt, only 193 yards, no TDs, which all factored into his 68 rating.
Here is Williams, pressure in his face, throwing deep, has DJ Moore, and he overthrew him.
Caleb's completion percentage under 60 3 straight games, rate under 84, 4 of his last 5. Doesn't always get the help he deserves with his pass catchers dropping passes, so if you want to look at it as it's the passing attack and not Williams, to each his own. Either way, Williams and company face a Pittsburgh secondary that just cooled off Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase, both who hit that game with swag on their side. Picked Flacco off only 1 touchdown, just 199 yards on a measly 5 yards per attempt, a 68 rating.
It's intercepted. It's picked off by Duggar. He's got room to roam.
That brought their rate allowed for the year down to an even 90. They are last in yards per game allowed, but it's because they've faced the most pass attempts in the NFL, which does mean more chances for TJ Watt and company to do their thing. 33 sacks for the season as a team, 3rd most. Only 1 sack of Flacco on 40 pass attempts. Now they have to try and chase down Houdini. Caleb should be cast in the next Now You See Me, Now You Don't movie. Took 2 sacks versus Minnesota. Should have taken like 4 or 5.
Williams in trouble. Van Ginkel brings him down.
Despite their lack of Flacco bags, Pittsburgh's defense sorta comes off a shutout, gave up 12 points but accounted for 14, so really they were good for -2 points.
The ball jarred free, picked up Pierre, he'll take it in, it is a touchdown!
Steelers DBs gave up a touchdown and 63 yards to T. Higgins, gave Jamar Chase the business, just 30 yards, 10 targets. Chase Brown, 28 yards on 8 targets. Bears don't have a chase of any kind. Steelers corners will chase around Rome Odunze though. 41 yards, 2 catches versus the Vikings.
Williams zips one over the middle. Oh, perfect throw to Odunze. Laser beam.
And they have 2 tight ends to track. Colston Loveland, 40 yards a week ago. He's getting more looks on a regular basis now.
Underneath they go to Loveland. Way to go, and he's going to get there! Oh, and he's still going!
And Cole Kmet led them with 45 yards, a yard short of his season high.
Your side he comes, and it's Cole Kmet makes his first catch, or he gets popped.
The most consistent performer of their offense, though, the last 5 to 6 games, DeAndre Swift, 90 yards versus the Purple Guys, 80-plus yards in 4 of his last 5.
They'll run it to Swift, dancing around, breaks a couple tackles. Oh, good run.
He could lead the way again versus Pittsburgh as they gave up 99 yards on 5.5 a carry to Brown along the ground.
Chase Brown gets the call, swerving and accelerates into the secondary. He made a miss.
Can't forget about Williams, who uses his escape abilities to take off sometimes, which he's done plenty of recently. Unlike his counterpart, if he plays that is, Aaron Rodgers hurt his hand last week. It's a small fracture. He was looking good before he left. 106 rate, 9 of 15 passing, 116 yards and a touchdown.
Aaron Rodgers with a touchdown pass, number 522.
If he can't go, it is that time of the year when Rudolph tends to come to the rescue. Mason came off the bench last week and threw for 127 yards on 7.9 per attempt, a touchdown, a 118 rating.
Here they come, get a catch made downfield. 18-yard pickup.
Whoever goes draws a grinchy defense. They'll steal the Who's stockings, their Who pudding, their whole Who feast, and if they have a football, they'd take that for sure. No team with more thefts this year.
McCarthy going deep for it all. End zone intercepted.
They added 2 more takeaways on interceptions last week. They held Minnesota to 3 for 11 on 3rd down. They are the second hardest team to move the sticks against big picture, still giving up 26 points a game, but heading in the right direction after holding the Giants and Vikings under 20 the last 2 games. Held J.J. McCarthy to 150 yards on 16 of 32 passing, under 5 yards per attempt to just a 47 rate.
Gets hit as he throws into a crowd, and it is, nearly intercepted again.
Bears DBs kept Justin Jefferson to 61 yards. That's a win against that dude. Just 20 yards allowed to Jordan Addison. Still, Pittsburgh's offense generally more potent than Minnesota's. Vikes a 21-point-a-game outfit. Steelers averaged 24 a game, good for 34 in their win over the Bengals.
Second goal. Breaks the tackle right there of Burks and goes in for 6.
Bears would love to get Jalen Johnson back at corner. He's supposed to be close. He could jump back in and cover DK Metcalf, 49 yards last week.
There goes the pass. DK Metcalf, pass midfield.
Hasn't topped 56 yards in 5 straight games. Tight end Darnell Washington did, though, just last week, 67 yards. Just an FYI, Chicago. He's a grown-ass man.
The muscular tight end Washington, running roughshod. Wow!
It's like watching a pack of Smurfs trying to tackle the Hulk. And running back Kenneth Gainwell, Pittsburgh's top pass catcher, Week 11, 2 touchdowns, 7 catches, 81 yards.
Nice one-handed snare. Got a block on the play, swerving inside the 10.
Gainwell didn't do much on the ground. Jalen Warren did, though, 62 yards on a smooth 6.2 a run.
Can't bring him down. What a run. Galloping for 35.
4.7 or better in 5 of his last 6. Plenty of incentive to load up on him. Bears gave up 70 yards, 4.4 a carry to Aaron Jones, 45 yards on 7.5 per, and a score to Jordan Mason, giving out 5.2 an attempt on the season, so nothing new there.
Stick with the run. It's Mason. Breaks the tackle. Jordan Mason. And
Steelers-Bears first got in the ring together in 1934. Chicago beat Pittsburgh the first 10 times they met. Let's check out their 1971 battle.
1971 was a critical year, for the Bears hoped to end a string of 2 consecutive losing seasons. But through nearly 53 minutes of the game, the Bears were frustrated at every turn. Every apparent opening was snuffed out while the Steelers built a 15-3 lead late in the 4th period. An Ed O'Bradovich tackle shook the ball loose from Warren Bankston. Ross Brubacher scooped up the fumble and ran 30 yards for the first touchdown. 49 seconds left. 3rd down. Nix lofted one to George Farmer, and the rally was complete. The Bears had scored 14 points in less than 4 minutes and set the trend for a series of Bear comeback victories in 1971.
Dallas Cowboys at home for a big throwdown with their interdivision arch rivals this week. The boys with a different feel to them after coming out of their break with a defensive attitude.
Watch out here, Genty, Ezaraku. It's a safety.
They take on the Philadelphia Eagles, have also been acting quite offended by other teams' offensive efforts lately.
Scanning here, it's deflected and intercepted. On the deflection, Cooper DeJean has it. Jordan Davis got a big mid up there.
Philadelphia had John Morton's back, shut down the DC Lions, who had exploded for 44 points the week before. Then against Philly's D-boys, just 9 points, 3 for 13 on 3rd down, and the big one turned them away on 5 4th down attempts. It was impressive, most impressive.
Goff looking, throwing, back of the end zone, St. Brown, no! The pressure gets to Goff again. The Eagles stop the Lions on downs.
I don't know if they've reached Jedi status yet, but they are holding teams to 20 points per game after holding Detroit to 9, Green Bay to 7 the week before that, held Jared Goff to a 60 rating. How about 10 passes defensed? That's a monster number of knockdown passes. Jordan Davis deflected 3 passes himself.
A step up here, and it's deflected. That'll go as a 3rd pass deflection on the night for Jordan Davis, who is having a night.
Now they turn their sights on Dak's balls. Prescott hit jackpot after jackpot on the strip last week. 4 TDs, no picks, 25 of 33 passing, over 8 yards per attempt, a fat 138 rate.
End zone, touchdown, Cowboys. Ferguson.
Dak was in a 2-game funk prior to facing the Raiders. Offense went from 17 points versus the Cardinals to 33 versus the Black Hole. Pushed them back into 2nd in points per game for the season.
Prescott, wide open, touchdown grab. This time, Flanoy.
All that was versus a 2-win Vegas squad, not a 2-loss team like Philadelphia. Prescott only took 1 sack on his 33 pass attempts to Max Crosby, who did strip him, but the pressure meter is likely to rise versus Philadelphia's new-look pass rush. Jalen Phillips has sparked their QB hunting unit. He made it home to see Goff, had 6 pressures. Philadelphia with 2 sacks total, not a big number, but they pressured Goff 41% of his dropbacks. That's hefty.
But the pressure goes right through Montgomery, and Goff is ruled down.
The wide receiver corner battles in this one are A grade. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, each with 2 passes defensed last week. DeJean with a pick, too. They held Amon-Ra St. Brown to 42 yards, 12 targets. Jamison Williams got away for a long TD, but that was against Adoree Jackson. The duo they squabble up with this week, CD and Pickens. George was their star wideout last week, 9 catches, 144 yards, his 7th touchdown of the year. He's now sitting on 908 yards for the season.
Prescott able to step into it. It's got Pickens, good move. Nice cut back and a touchdown.
Lamb also found pay dirt versus Vegas, 66 yards.
Here's Lamb, wide open, backs in for the touchdown.
Jake Ferguson looms as well, but comes off a 16-yard outing. And Philadelphia has to be ready for plenty of Javonte Williams down low. He racked up 93 rush yards on 4.2 per attempt a week ago.
Here's Javonte Williams. And Williams with a big carry on first down.
80-plus yards in 3 of his last 4 now, averaging a nice 5 a carry for the year, has over 800 rush yards. Gets an Eagles front that held Jahmyr Gibbs to 39 yards, 3.3 per run, have held running backs to 4 a carry for the year, top 10 tough.
As Gibbs gets punished inside on that hit, Moro Ojomo.
Well, how about Dallas's defense holding Ashton Genty to 7 yards last week, 1.2 a carry? That showing significant, being Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson were part of the picture for the first time. Prior to that, they had struggled to stop runners and offenses, held the Raiders to 16 points, 3 for 12 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone.
It's broken up, and that's Bland, the corner on the tight end, to bring up fourth down.
They had struggled versus quarterbacks most games, then picked off Geno Smith once, held him under 6 yards per attempt into a 77 rating.
Intercepted by Marquise Bell.
Okay, sure, that's against Geno, and he is the league's pick leader, and against an offense that's second to last in points per game, and against a back averaging under 4 a carry. But they were making the likes of Sagittarius Jefferson look like all pros prior to that, so it's a start. And it's not like they're up against a potent Eagles offense. Like Genty, Saquon Barkley is also a sub 4 yard per carry guy this year, just 3.2 per try last week. He's been under 3.3 a run in 3 of his last 4. Philadelphia's offense, good for just 16 points, only put up 10 points the week before that.
Barkley open field, Alex Anzalone brings him down. Big loss on the play.
And Jalen Hurts isn't flying in hot either. Meager 135 yards passing versus Detroit, under 5 yards per attempt, a crummy 63 rating. He's finished with less than 184 yards in 3 straight now.
And Hurts throwing sideline back to Brown. Not on the same page. Rock Yassin was the man.
Philadelphia's top receiver in their most recent win, A.J. Brown, 49 yards.
Caught for the first down, it's A.J. Brown, and it brings many of the Philly fans to their feet.
He was targeted 11 times, too, 6 more than anyone else. Maybe they need to have one of those pluribus people kiss him so he'll feel happier. Devontae Smith, just 8 yards on 5 targets versus the Lions. Dallas Goedert, 24 yards, 5 targets. Jahan Dotson, the only other guy besides time enough at last to crack 40 yards. He caught 2 balls for 43.
Throws on the run, got him! Dotson held on at the 38 and a hit on Branch.
Cowboys DBs did give up a touchdown and 47 yards to Trey Tucker in their win, 72 yards allowed to Brock Bowers. Their pass rush made it to Geno's house 4 times, Quinnen with 1.5 bags, so instant impact in more than one way.
Blitz coming. Quinnen Williams got there. And welcome to the Dallas Cowboys for big number 92 and a loss of 9.
Hurts has taken 26 sacks this season, so more than 2 a game, but the last 2 games he's only been dropped once. And again, for all the chatter about Philadelphia's issues, they've won 4 straight. No team in the NFL has a better record. They are the top seed in the NFC right now.
Comes the pressure from Dean. It's knocked down again. That time it's Carter. So Davis has 3 and Carter has 2, right?
Yep.
Eagles have taken down the star 3 straight times, 4 of their last 5. They've been throwing down since 1960, 4 playoff meetings, 1980 the first. Winner goes to the bowl.
Philadelphia's Doc Wallopers punched holes in the Cowboys' sophisticated offense. It was like a wrecking ball loosed in the Louvre. Blustery winds wiped out the passing game. But on this day, these Eagles would not need wings.
Jaworski gives off inside, running with Montgomery up the right side. Left 30, 25, 40, 15, 10, touchdown! Herbert Montgomery!
Dick, yeah, great call. Thank you, beautiful. All right, slot split. I want 47 slant. This should be a touchdown right here, Dick. Yeah. Should be a score.
Jaworski on the delay to Leroy Harris up the middle, across the 5. Touchdown Eagles! Leroy Harris! 3 going to New Orleans!
tell you where you're going. You're going to Super Bowl. No, he's going to Super Bowls where he's going.
Cincinnati Bengals at home in the jungle this week. 3-game losing streak, losers of 7 of their last 8, and it doesn't get any easier this week. They host the New England Patriots, who are looking for a 9-game win streak. The team hasn't seen that since that one guy was around.
Pump fake, throws, open, caught, touchdown. The hat trick for Henderson.
Principal Rooney's going to be on line 1 soon if New England makes it 9 straight. They've strung together 8 wins as it is. Frank the Tank can't even keep up. It's been going on so long.
To the outside and cutting through and going all the way to the end zone is Trevion Henderson.
New England's offense casually dropped 27 points on the Jets last week, 24 plus in 6 straight, still riding the hot hand of Shooter McGavin at quarterback. Shooter's gotta shoot, right? Drake May, ho-hum 280 plus yards, 100 plus rate game versus Gang Green. You can argue he's had 8 A-grade outings this year, couple of B's maybe. Talk about watching a kid who looks like he's already figured it all out.
You better get used to it, not only in the AFC East, but all around the league.
So you have maybe the hottest quarterback going, driving the bus of a potent offense, taking on a Bengals defense last in scoring. Now, Cincinnati's defense is coming off what you'd call maybe their best showing since week 1. They held Pittsburgh to 20 points last week. Their offense gave up 2 touchdowns. This is a team that's giving up 30 a game, mind you.
To the end zone, Rodgers, and caught out of bounds.
They still let Pittsburgh convert 7 of 13 third down chances, and their secondary, which has not played the pass well this season, gave up 2 TDs to Aaron Rodgers / Mason Rudolph, 1 each, allowed 100-plus rate to each guy, close to 8 yards per attempt to each, over 240 yards total, 81 yards and 2 TDs to running back Kenneth Gainwell, and 67 yards allowed to Darnell Washington. They looked like minions stacked against the Hulk versus that dude.
Bulldozing, plowing, wow!
Bengals pass rush, only 1 sack, 31 pass attempts. That fits. They only have 14 for the year. May only took 1 sack versus New York. That's back-to-back games with only 1 sack taken after a couple of rough games on that front. No booty for Drake last week. Aubrey Graham's like, that's a lie. It's not though. Kayshawn missed the game hurt. But speaking of the rap game, baby boy for Cardi and Stephon last week, he must have digged it because he popped off for 100-plus yards versus the Green.
Diggs having a big night. Diggs is now over 100 yards.
May seems to be getting used to Mac Hollins more week to week. 64 yards a week ago, has donated 50-plus yards to the cause 3 of his last 4.
What a year Mac Hollins is having. Coming over from Buffalo.
Demario Douglas, 36 yards, 17 to 44, 5 of his last 6 times out. And Hunter Henry, 45 yards versus the Jets, a little more than his season average this year.
Here's May on play action, fires, caught. Over the middle to the 42-yard line goes Hunter Henry.
Pat's ground game. Trevion Henderson hits this week off a 3-score game, over 90 scrimmage yards, has 5 touchdowns in his last 2 romps through the park.
Flip it back here, turning inside, spinning his way, all the way into the end zone is Henderson for the touchdown.
Bengals run defense fits right in there with the rest of that D. Not good, over 5 yards per carry allowed to ball carriers as a whole. Bengals defense, though, better last week than most weeks. Bengals offense and Joe Flacco, worse than they had been lately. Offense was good for 33 plus 3 straight games, just 12 last week. Flacco, 100-plus rate games 3 straight, 68 rating versus Pittsburgh on 23 of 40 passing, just 199 yards, only 5 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, and he got picked off.
It's picked off by Tugger. He's got room to roam. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. pick six.
Bengals turned the ball over twice, only made it to the red zone twice. Won't be easy to get back on track versus New England's defense. They gave up a long TD drive and let New York convert a bunch of third downs to start the game last Thursday. Then Mike Vrabel gathered his guys and reminded them, "You know that's the Jets we're playing, right?" Pretty much locked it up after. Now top 5 in scoring for 2025 after holding the Jets to 14, only 2 red zone trips allowed.
It's dropped by Fields, and now it looks like New England has recovered, and indeed they have.
Flacco only took 1 sack versus the Steelers and doesn't face what you'd call a fierce pass rush. 2 sacks last week, 27 pass attempts. Patriots have 24 for the year, so better than 2 a game at least.
Fields under pressure, down he's going to go, setting up a 4th down.
New England's secondary comes off a game that saw them hold Justin Fields to 116 yards and 81 rating. So what gives, guys? Those are good numbers for him lately. No, it was a solid day of work for their DBs, held all of New York's pass catchers under 50 yards.
To the end zone and knocked down. Gonzalez is right there.
Cincinnati's WR room a little more talented than New York's, but Jamar Chase was targeted 10 times week 11, just 30 yards. T. Higgins scored, led them with 63, only Bengal with 37 plus yards.
Caught by Higgins. He's in right now. It's a 28-yard touchdown pass to Higgins.
Chase Brown saw 8 targets versus Pittsburgh, 28 receiving yards, fared much better as a runner, 99 yards, 5.5 a carry.
Big hole opened up by Mims. He's into the secondary. They can't even tear him down.
Brown's played well lately, averaging 4.7 or better in 4 of his last 5 now. New England did struggle to contain Fields when he ran. He is fast. Flacco is not. They held Breece Hall to a respectable 4.1 a carry, still a defense holding runners under 4 a carry for the year.
1-yard pickup there for Hall.
These two played last year. Week 1, Pats, with what was considered a big upset, took them the very first time they met in 1968. Well, the Boston Patriots took them anyway.
Boston virtually exploded against the Bengals. Ironically, Cincinnati's expansion team fielded fewer rookies than Boston's long-established squad. They would have been better off fielding no one at all. The defense stopped the Bengals far short of success. Every time Cincinnati tried to run, a Patriot was in the way. Every time they tried to pass, a Patriot was there to foul up the plan. And it was Sherman who saw to it that they scored. His pass to Capoletti was good for 6 points. The final score came on a Sherman to Whalen pass. It ended with the Patriots on top, 33-14. This was the day that made the injuries worthwhile. It was the day when many Boston rookies came of age. It was the day the veterans' ability shone most brightly. It was indeed a day when the face of the Patriots showed signs of a dramatic change.
Minnesota Vikings stumble off to Green Bay this week. They've lost 2 in a row, 4 of their last 5, sitting at the bottom of the NFC North. Packers just snapped a 2-game losing skid to make sure they remained right in the thick of it.
Loading up, gotta hurry, hit from behind, ball is out!
This is the first meeting between the two this year. Vikings taking on a defense that's been pretty stingy as of late, and an offense that woke back up after a 2-week nap. Forget 6-7, give the cheese some 2-7. Green Bay putting up 27 points last week. That's the 5th time they've ended with exactly that.
Of dancing, floating in, and it is held on to by Wilson.
Had themselves a Slurpee day versus the G-Men, 7 for 11 on 3rd down, 4 for 4 in the red zone. It's been pretty straightforward in their case, put up 27 plus points, 6-0-1 in those games. 0-3 in games where the offense didn't show up, 7, 13, and 10 points in those games. So what about Minnesota's defense? They held Chicago to 19 points, only 2 red zone trips allowed, 7 for 18 on 3rd down, and the Bears are a top 10, 25-point-a-game outfit this year.
Looking deep, launching deep for Odunze, and it's incomplete.
The caveat, that was the fourth game they've held a team under 24 points, so 24 plus points allowed in 6 games. They also played the pass better last week compared to their 2025 resume, held Caleb Williams to 193 yards, just 6 yards per attempt, no TDs allowed, held him to a 68 rating.
Sling it out here to Burden, and he gets swarmed immediately for nothing.
Can they keep that up versus Jordan Love? He snapped a 2-game dud streak with a 2 TD, no INT day versus New York. Nothing crazy yards-wise, but a 100-plus rating over 7 yards per attempt.
Love, drop back, wide open man, it's the tight end Josh Wiley.
That is back-to-back games with less than 177 yards passing, and back-to-back games completing less than 60% of his throws. He took a couple of sacks on his 24 pass attempts.
Jordan Love, after taking that Flanagan Fowles hit, is going to the sideline.
But Love has only taken 16 sacks all year. Now he takes on the #1 blitzing team in the land. For the record, Love versus the Blitz in 2025. 9 touchdowns, only 1 pick, a 119 rate, so he's beat it plenty. Vikings had trouble taking Williams down at times. They were missing Jonathan Grenard, though, and they did finish him off twice at least.
Williams looking around and finally dropped.
Their DBs gave up 40 yards to Colston Loveland, 41 to Rome Odunze, 45 to Cole Kmet, so tight ends dinged him. Wasn't the position Love used versus the Giants. Only guys with 10-plus yards were wideouts. Matthew Golden, 24 yards. Savion Williams, 33. Christian Watson, 46, and 2 TDs. One a real beaut, Clark.
Floats it, Watson up top, it is caught!
Romeo Doubs led the team with 53 yards.
On the rollout, Love throws on the move, Romeo Doubs steps out inside the 15.
A couple of drops, or could have been more. They roll into this game with questions in the backfield. Josh Jacobs has a bum knee, so Emmanuel Wilson could lead the way. He scored versus New York, 40 yards.
Wilson slips through and scores to give Green Bay the lead. His first touchdown of the season.
If Jacobs makes a go of it, he comes in with a little mojo on his side at least. Was having a good game when he left, 5.7 a carry, 40 yards.
Josh Jacobs has been one of the most productive running backs in the NFL this year.
Vikings, usually a tough team to run on. Didn't handle DeAndre Swift great, 4.3 a run allowed to him, 90 yards, but they held Kyle Monangai to 1.9 a run, holding the Bears to 3.6 per when it was all over.
Here is a fumble, ball is loose on the ground, kicked way backwards.
Minnesota's defense did enough to win that game. They even played the shaggy roll on the game-winning field goal. Wasn't them that gave up the long kickoff return that set it up. And despite their offense handing them the lead late, J.J. McCarthy once again leading a late TD drive, KDOT would tell you 17 points is not enough. 3 for 11 on third down.
On 3rd and 3, McCarthy near side again. He had Jefferson and sailed it way high. Wow.
Fewer than 23 points in 7 games after playing 10. Somebody's got to get on their or on McCarthy's. 16 for 32 versus Chicago, just 150 yards. The late TD stacked against 2 INTs, a 47 rating, has interceptions in all his games, so 5 straight games in his case. His play brought out the Boo Birds at home last week.
McCarthy, end zone, intercepted! And you got some Boo Birds here in Minneapolis.
Packers secondary he faces next just handled famous Jameis, holding Winston to less than 7 yards per attempt, a 71 rate. No TDs, picked him off.
Winston fires, end zone off target, picked off!
Sure, it was Winston, a backup to a backup, but their DBs are holding quarterbacks to a sub-90 rate for the year, and no team is allowing less than their 6 yards per attempt. And their defense, as a whole, has held their last 3 opponents under 21 points, held New York to 20.
Now Winston's going to take a deep shot, and that could have been picked by Nixon. Whoa.
So they've kept it under 21 points 7 out of 10 games. Gave up 57 yards to Isaiah Hodgins in their win over the G-Men, 51 to Tyrone Tracy. No one else cracked 40. Only Justin Jefferson with 40-plus versus the Bears. Jordan Addison had the late TD in 20 yards. Could have had more, but forgot his stickum maybe. Jalen Naylor, 16 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 39. JJ with 61.
McCarthy over the middle. He's got a completion. Justin Jefferson makes the catch.
But he was visibly frustrated having to play a role as a member of the Seaver family. McCarthy wasn't sacked on 32 pass attempts, so that didn't play a role in his growing pains. Chicago's pass rush, not as well equipped as Green Bay's. Micah Parsons, with 1.5 of the Packers' 2 Winston takedowns, leads the team with 8 now.
Here comes the rush, and down he goes! Packers get the stop!
Green Bay's front's play versus the run Week 11 gave up 142 yards on the ground, 88 to Tyrone Tracy on 4.6 a carry, but they also held Devin Singletary to 2.8 a run, holding New York to 3.7 on the day, which fits as they've been tough on runners all season.
They'll hand it off for Singletary.
Of course, there's Quay Walker running. That's why he went outside.
That's right.
Bang!
Vikings counter with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Mason 45 yards and a touchdown, hefty 7.5 per try. Jones 70 yards on 4.4 per, so they come in with some mojo down low.
Jones slips through. There's a nice seam. Aaron Jones has a first down.
Longtime NFL North rivals, or NFL West rivals, or NFL Central rivals. They've been duking it out since 1961, 2 playoff meetings, 2012 and 2004.
As the NFC's lowest seed, Minnesota had pundits to prove wrong and Packers to pay back.
Dante takes the Matt Burke snap, rolls out to the left. He can run if he wants and he will. No, he passes. Caught at the 45, and it's caught by Mo to the 40. He's streaking to the end zone. Culpepper, fade, right. Moss, single coverage, caught. Touchdown.
2 plays later, Antoine Winfield made it 2 possessions, 2 stops for the Vikings defense. Can the Minnesota Moving Company then finish the job with an 8-minute drive that silenced the Lambeau faithful?
And the Minnesota Moving Company opened a massive hole for Ontario Smith.
Minnesota's first road playoff victory since 1997 punctuated an evening of Packer-felt purple payback and provides a launch pad for Minnesota's 2005 Super Bowl aspirations.
I tell you what, I couldn't be more proud of you guys to come in here with every book and all the garbage we went through the whole season, to stick together. You showed a lot of fortitude. You showed me all the things that I thought you had all year.
Indianapolis Colts take to the road after taking a week off. They've won 5 of their last 6, still in the hunt for that #1 seed in the AFC, get to test just how good they are as they travel to Kansas City, who have work to do after falling to an even 5-5.
Lutz in the clutch, and the Broncos have won it.
This is unfamiliar territory for Patrick Mahomes. He's never had a 500 record this deep into a season in his career. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Offense unable to hit 22 on the scoreboard in both losses. Mahomes unable to top an 80 rate in either. INTs in both.
And throws, intercepted. Quite a change of possession it is as the Broncos come up with the interception.
The common denominator in both games, facing a defense holding teams to 21 or fewer points when they met, facing a secondary top 10 in rating allowed, with a pass rush that can bother a quarterback on the regular. Indianapolis's defense holding teams under 21 a game, so check if you're a Shoes fan. Haven't been great on 3rd down or in the red zone, but they've made up for it with 14 takeaways.
Beats the play clock, gets hit hard for the backside. That ball is out, and the Colts have it.
Mahomes faces a secondary with 10 INTs, holding quarterbacks to less than 7 yards per attempt to a sub-90 rate, top 10 good. So check number 2. And that was all built without Sauce, only tougher now with Gardner in the fold.
Sauce Gardner nearly had his first big impact play as a Colt.
And Indy's pass rush, top 10 in sacks and quarterback hits, so they check all the boxes. Laiatu Latu leads them with 5 bags.
Scanning in the pocket, and he is driven down. A sack for the Colts.
Mahomes took 3 sacks to Denver's top-ranked pass rush. He's been dropped 3 times, 3 games in a row.
Comes the blitz, and they got him back at the 14.
Another huge play in this game.
He didn't face as much pressure as he did versus Buffalo. He got left tackle Josh Simmons back. Josh Smith would have been a debacle on the blind side. Real ones get it. Mahomes threw for 276 yards versus Denver. Xavier Worthy, 25 yards. Rashee Rice, 9 targets, only 38 yards. Hollywood Brown, 40 yards.
Pass caught by Brown.
Great job by Brown to stay focused.
He connected with Tyquan Thornton for a 61-yard pass. He's the long ball guy.
Mahomes gonna launch it long, one-on-one coverage, and Thornton makes the catch.
And Ophelia with 91 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce's second 90-plus yard game in his last 3 outings.
Breaking the tackles, Kelce, and Travis takes it to the end zone. What an effort by Travis Kelce.
Kareem Hunt, the handoff guy, 59 yards, 4.5 a carry versus Denver, 4.4 or better 4 straight.
They're gonna ride him, says strength. It's Hunt, driving, touchdown.
Indy has also been tough on runners, holding them to 4.1 a run for the year.
Robinson, and he gets tripped up right near the line of scrimmage. Good play.
And then there's the matter of the Indy O-face, well known at this point in the season. Colts offense, the big man on campus this year. #1 scoring offense, 29-plus points, 8 of 10 games.
Right back to Taylor with Warren blocking. Touchdown, Taylor!
The only 2 times they didn't score 29-plus, their 2 losses where they were held to 20 points. Both those games, the only 2 Daniel Jones didn't have a 100-plus rating. Rest of the time, he's played at an all-pro level, 265 yards per game, a 101 rate, 15 TDs against 7 INTs.
Jones looking deep down the field, and it is caught!
The other challenge to slowing Indianapolis down, of course, Jonathan Taylor, who's trying to pull in the MVP award from the running back spot. Last time it happened, 2012 AP. JT, with over 1,100 yards, leads the league in TDs with 15, 6 yards per carry, also best in the biz.
And he busts away from the pack for plenty more. Jonathan Taylor, there he goes!
The KC defense he throws bows with held RJ Harvey, a second string type, to 2.7 per carry, held Denver, who didn't have J.K. Dobbins, to 59 yards on the ground total. They've been solid enough against the run in the big picture, holding running backs and quarterbacks just below the league average.
Here they toss it. Harvey trying to get away from Karlaftis, and he's going to lose a yard on this occasion.
The defense Indy scrapping with held Denver to 22 points, held the Broncos to 1 for 5 inside the 20, fewer than 23 points allowed in 4 of their last 5.
They try to get it up top. Here's Nix. Pressure, and he's taken down.
The Chiefs' secondary Jones is eyeing did give up 295 yards to Bo Nix, who had been scuffling ahead of their game against him. Their play versus Nix fitting more or less how they've played the past this year. The tattoo artist might call them one of the secondaries in the NFL.
Going for a big throw, and the Broncos are set up now to win the game.
They only came up with 2 Nix sacks on 37 pass attempts. They are a 2-bag-a-game outfit for the year, so average country. Jones has the Temple of Doom protecting him, 21 sacks taken over 10 games, plenty respectable being they've thrown as often as they have.
Jones waits, throws, and he drops it in the bucket.
Kansas City's DBs last week gave up 84 yards to Troy Franklin, 82 to Pat Bryant, 59 to Cortland Sutton. To stop Indiana Jones, KC has to stop his sidekicks. Got short round, Alec Pierce leads them in yards per game at 73 per adventure.
Jones takes a shot into double coverage. Pierce leaping for the touchdown.
Michael Pittman, the vet, so call him Henry Jones, leads the team in receiving touchdowns with 6, 58 yards per contest.
Time, touch pass, he's got a man. Pittman, touchdown!
Josh Downs, 35 yards per game, 4 TDs, and rookie tight end Tyler Warren, has to be Saleh, right? Over 60 yards per contest, averaging 5 catches a game.
Yeah, there you go.
Tyler Warren is in for a Colts touchdown.
Kansas City with 10 penalties last week. I mean, Denver had 10 too for way more yards, but Sarah Lynn would tell you 10 flags is too much, man.
Hey, take your helmet off. Give it to me.
28 Chiefs-Colts bouts since 1970. Colts up 18-10, 5 playoff throwdowns. I know, there was that crazy Andrew Luck 2013 wildcard game, but everyone knows everything about that one. How about their first postseason meeting between them in 1995? Same victor, different path to victory.
The wind chill was -9 degrees when the Colts blew into Kansas City to take on the team with the NFL's best record. The offensive line held firm against one of the league's top defenses. The Colts erased a 7-0 deficit when Harbaugh and Floyd Turner teamed up for a touchdown.
Throw Harbaugh out of the shotgun. He throws to the corner. Turner's got a touchdown. Floyd Turner. I don't think we need ice in the water today.
But with 37 seconds left to play, Indianapolis would be reminded that it helps to be lucky as well as good.
It's wide left. The Colts are going to the AFC Championship game.
What's that movie with Brad Pitt? Call this the Fury Bowl of Week 12. Cleveland Browns, losers of 3 straight, 6 of their last 8. Las Vegas Raiders, losers of 3 straight, 8 of their last 9.
It's 4th down, and Smith is sacked.
And if you're a Raiders fan, you've been watching this has been all year.
You know what you get to watch in this matchup? No, not a game between two 2-8 teams vying for the possibility of drafting first in the 2026 draft. Not a game between 2 offenses that don't even average 17 points a game. You're watching 2 of the best QB hunters and defenders the game has to offer.
Lamar rolling right, trying to come back the other way, and Myles Garrett is there!
Myles Garrett is threatening the NFL sack record after bagging Lamar Jackson 4 times. He's up to 15 in 10 games. The record is 22.5. TJ Watt did it in 15 games. Michael Strahan, 16. Garrett has 11 in his last 4 games, 4 and 5 sacks in 2 of those games respectively.
And he is sacked by guess who? Number 4 for Myles Garrett.
Oh, baby, and now he goes after Geno Smith, who took 4 sacks to Dallas last week after taking 6 the week before that. He got hit 11 times by the boys too, so it could have been worse. Raiders have given up 31 sacks on the year. Only a handful of teams have allowed more.
Blitz coming. Quinnen Williams got there with a loss of 9.
If there's one guy who gets Myles, gets what it's like to feel like he's a lonely road warrior, it's Mad Max. Crosby may not be threatening any records, but he collected his 6th QB takedown when he strip-sacked Dak Prescott last week. His team may not be going anywhere, but he's still here for the gas.
Scott is protected. Now Crosby gets in, and the ball is out. Las Vegas football.
And he, too, is lined up for a big day. He'll be hunting none other than Shedeur Sanders, who came off the bench a week ago, threw 16 passes, got dropped twice for 27 yards and losses. Not just a Shedeur thing either. Browns QB sack total for the year right next door to Vegas's.
Sanders, pressure's coming, spins away, but can't get away a second time.
Sanders has nowhere to go but up following his NFL debut. 4 for 16 passing, 2.9 yards per attempt. Bad running backs fare better than that. No touchdowns, he got picked off, all for an astonishingly low 13.5 rate. More likely to see Santa Claus on your roof before you see a rating that low again.
Sanders takes a big hit, and he's picked off.
Well, it's not like Geno lit it up versus the Cowboys. Threw another pick, so he's back in the lead for interceptions this year. Has thrown 1 in 3 straight games, 1+ in 6 of his last 7 games.
And that ball is picked off by Tarek Brown.
Lots of fans will be watching to see what Brock Bowers does. Went for 72 yards versus Dallas. Has put up 70+ in 2 of his last 3. Seems like the knee issues are mostly behind him.
And the pass is caught. Another big play to number 89 for 16.
Smith targeted him 12 times last week, a team high. Trey Tucker, the next most thrown to with 8 looks. He scored with 47 yards.
Quick throw, Tucker looking for blocks. He's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Those two are up against a Cleveland secondary that is coming off a strong showing. They held Lamar Jackson, who leads the NFL with a 115 rate, to a season-low 47 rate. No touchdowns, and they picked him off twice.
Lamar's pass batted up in the air, and it is picked off.
They did give up a touchdown to tight end Mark Andrews on the ground, held him to 32 yards through the air, and that fits how they've handled tight ends, as they've held the position to a 92 rate, which is 4th lowest in the league. They gave up 78 yards to Zay Flowers. Tucker seemingly positioned to do a little something, as the Browns have given up a 102 rate to his position. Only 7 teams have allowed a higher rate to wideouts.
Lamar throwing on the run. Zay Flowers cuts it upfield at the 10.
Big picture, what kind of scoring should we expect from this matchup? Cleveland's defense, 23 points per game allowed, exactly how many points they surrendered to Baltimore, who do usually put up more than that with Jackson at quarterback, so they played them tough enough, especially when you consider one of their INTs was a house call. Raiders offense, 16 points last week, one above their average, only one team putting up fewer points per game.
Downfield and watch out. And Malik Hooker was closing on it fast.
Black Hole's defense gave up 33 points to the boys, brought their season average up to 25 a game, stacked against a Cleveland offense that managed just 9 points versus the Ravens, 16 points per game for 2025, so their offense resides in the same back alley as Vegas's.
Sanders pressure coming, throwing to the end zone, and it's incomplete.
And how about each team's rookie running backs? Each guy has struggled to find room most games. Ashton Genty seems to be met by a defender as soon as he gets the handoff half the time, stumbles in off a season-low 7 yards, 6 attempts. On one hand, maybe his line gives him a chance versus a Browns front that gave up over 100 yards to Derrick Henry on 5.7 a carry.
Henry flying through, but Derrick Henry goes for 59 yards.
But on the other hand, that was the king. They're holding running backs to 3.9 a run for the season, a hair stingier than the Raiders' defense has been with running backs this year, holding them to 4 per attempt, but also gave up decent digits to the last back they faced, giving up 93 yards on 4.2 a carry to Javonte Williams.
Here's Javonte Williams, and Williams with a big carry on first down.
Quinshawn Judkins, Genty's rookie counterpart, 59 yards last week, 3.5 per try. That's 5 straight he hasn't cracked 3.6. If ever there were 2 teams lined up to play the role of Luke kissing Leia, these 2 might be it. Silver and Black have beat Cleveland 5 straight after taking them last year. We flashed back to their 1980 Red-Right 88 playoff game in that preview, so let's hit the only other postseason bout between the 2, which happened 2 years later.
And then it was time for the playoffs and the visiting Cleveland Browns. The Raider machine roared for 510 yards of offense as Plunkett passed for a career-high 386 yards. Christensen caught 6 passes and Cliff Branch 5, while number 80, Malcolm Barnwell, used his blinding speed to open up the defense and make room for the moves of Marcus Allen, who had 147 yards rushing and receiving and ran for 2 touchdowns.
Quick toss to Allen, going wide left to the 5, shakes off a tackler and dances into the end zone. Touchdown Raiders!
Giants put on their walking shoes for a trek to Detroit this week on a 5-game losing streak that has them vying for the number 1 pick in next year's draft. The Lions have their sights set on this year's postseason, which is why not getting a chance to at least tie the Eagles last week was especially frustrating.
Oh, come on. Come on. That is terrible.
I know zebras have beef with lions for all the relatives they've eaten and whatnot, but come on, we're supposed to be better than the animal kingdom, and Detroit's offense is supposed to be better than 9 points. You know John Morton was like, oh, so it's not as easy as it looks, is it? Lions were nowhere close to as explosive in DC Part 2, bottoming out to a season-low 9 points after going for 44 versus Washington the week before. 3 for 13 on third down, and man, 0 for 5 on fourth down. Only one red zone attempt as a result.
Quick count, they go for it. Gibbs gets stopped at Jomo, got him by the legs.
Was it random offensive ineptitude, or was it facing a top-tier defense? The Giants' defense they face this week is not that. They've let teams put up 24 or more points on them 5 straight games, 27 allowed to Green Bay, 7 for 11 on third down, 4 for 4 in the red zone. Only 3 teams giving up more points per game in 2025.
But Christian Watson has been their big play guy, great at making plays above his head.
Their secondary gave up 2 touchdowns to Jordan Love, gave up 1 to Malik Willis when he stepped in for a moment, a 117 rate allowed to the pair, no picks.
Burns is bearing down on him and just gets blasted. My goodness.
It's not that New York's terrible versus the pass, but at this point they reside on the south side of Average Boulevard. They catch Jared Goff off his worst showing of 2025, a 60 rating off 14 of 37 passing, only 1 touchdown and 1 pick.
Scanning here, it's deflected and intercepted. On the deflection, Cooper DeJean has it.
Guy is used to blinking out 100-plus rate type games, hasn't had back-to-back dud games once yet, but he needs more time to be effective. 2 sacks on 37 pass attempts isn't a big deal, but he faced a 41% pressure rate versus Philadelphia. That's Pineapple Express territory.
Goff, spinning, firing, incomplete for Jamison Williams.
Giants could pose a problem on that front, or Brian Burns could at least. He got both of the Giants' Love sacks last week. He's up to 13, second most in the NFL. G-men hit Love a healthy 8 times, too.
Really a huge run lane here if Jordan Love is able to step out of this.
The heat they put on Love helped limit him to 174 yards passing. Their DBs gave up 2 touchdowns to Christian Watson, 46 yards, 53 yards allowed to Romeo Doubs. Now on to Amon-Ra St. Brown, hits this game off a 42-yard shift.
5 come, picked up, Goff throwing complete for St. Brown.
2 catches on 12 targets, though. That connection needs tweaking. Jamison Williams speeds in off a touchdown and 88-yard game.
Understand the kind of speed that guy has. Watch when he makes the break.
Has a touchdown in 3 straight, 66-plus yards in 4 of his last 5. Has to remember, Madagascar Marty also doesn't care for hugs. And Gibbs led the way versus the Eagles with 107 receiving yards.
Gibbs taking off again. Still rolling.
Jameer not as effective as a runner though, 3.3 a carry, 39 yards. He's been at the ping pong table, 39 yards last week, 142 the week before, 25 the week before that, 136 the week before that. So in theory, ready for another C-note. And that pattern has a good chance of holding true as the Giants are allowing runners 5.5 a carry, no team more generous down low.
So now they go with an end around for Bo Melton, who finds an alley and finds a first down.
Giants' propensity to make other teams look good with the ball puts pressure on their points-challenged offense to try and keep up, which it has a hard time doing without its top quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. What do you need those for? They rolled with famous Jameis last week. Watson's fun to watch if nothing else, trying to lick W's, I guess.
Oh, look at Jameis! Unique to say the least, Giants in front.
Either way, he just tasted it, he didn't eat it. Giants with 20 points, basically on par with their season average. Winston, no touchdowns, 1 interception, under 7 yards per attempt, a 71 rating.
Fires, end zone, off target, picked off!
Detroit's secondary could face Dart if he were to clear concussion protocol. Either way, they feel good about being able to stop either, I imagine. After holding Jalen Hurts to 135 yards, 14 of 28 passing for just 4.8 an attempt, a 63 rating.
He attacks receivers off the line of scrimmage, and he was good enough on that one.
They ended up keeping the Eagles to just 16 points, 4 for 15 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone. They've held teams under 23 points 3 of the last 4.
3rd and 10, throwing sideline, And the pass incomplete.
Winston was sacked twice on 29 pass attempts. Micah Parsons 1.5 of those. Lions only got to Hurts once on 28 pass attempts. Aiden with a half a bag. Still, their DBs limited A.J. Brown to 49 yards on 11 targets. Devontae Smith to 8 yards, 5 targets. New York had 2 guys crack 40 yards versus Green Bay. Isaiah Hodgins led them with 57.
Winston avoids, throws, diving catch, first down.
Wan'Dale Robinson with 36. Theo Johnson 36. Running back Tyrone Tracy with 51, plus 88 rush yards on a cool 4.6 a carry.
Tracy slipping through, and he's got the first down and a little more.
Devin Singletary scored twice for them, 44 yards.
Great patience by Singletary and weave his way through. You know, he's kind of one of these small, shiftier backs.
That duo gets a Lions front that just held Saquon to 3.2 an attempt. Sure, that's not as impressive being its 2025 Barkley, but Detroit is holding runners to 4 a carry now.
And he just absolutely held his ground in there against Landon Dickerson.
Only a few teams still going that can say they played the Portsmouth Spartans. G-Men took them down in 1930. When they played in 1935, they were in Detroit, the Lions beating Blue for all the marbles once. It is the only playoff meeting ever between the two. The series also features a 0-0 tie back in 1943. Let's go to 1994, though, which took OT to determine a winner.
The Lions had never won a game at Giant Stadium. On October 30th, 1994, that dubious streak came to an end. Despite 3 turnovers, the team that never quit never allowed themselves to be counted out.
Pressure up the middle. Mitchell fires to the end zone. Herman Moore up. Touchdown, Lions. Herman Moore saw the football, adjusted back to it.
Transplanted Lions fans got a close-up look at Herman Moore and at a new addition to the Lions defense, Mike Johnson, number 59, who made his mark at outside linebacker. When the Lions weren't getting big plays from Mike Johnson, they turned to Barry Sanders, whose 146 yards put him over the 1,000 mark for the 6th straight season. Only 2 other runners in history can make that claim.
Breaks a tackle to the outside, 35, he's to the 40, 45, 50, Gary Lombardi, he's on a streak, they'll never get him, 20, 15, 10, all they do it from behind.
The 62-yard run led to a predictable reaction from the opposite sideline. In overtime, Moore's second effort paid a huge dividend and set the stage for still another overtime game-winning field goal.
25-yard field goal, Jason Hansen to win it for the Lions. The snap is good, placement is good, the kick is good, and the Lions win it.
With that kick, the team that never quit set an NFL record by becoming the only team ever to record 3 overtime wins in one season.
New York Jets on the road this week, deep into the Marshawn Lynch portion of their season at this point. They're just showing up to Baltimore so they don't get fined. The Ravens taking lots of ladders up the NFL standings board lately, back to even ground and on a 4-game winning streak.
Fires, and it's broken up by Roquan Smith, and this one will come to an end.
Now they just have to avoid landing on a chute, which is more or less what gangrene represents. They came close to hitting one of those slides last week. They avoided it primarily thanks to the King, and that improving defense held Cleveland to 9 points. That runs their fewer than 20 points allowed streak to 5 straight.
Throws on the run, incomplete. Broken up by Keon Martin.
Of course, you're not going to run around bragging about holding the Browns' inept offense in check or holding their rookie quarterback combo of Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders to a 39 rating. No TDs allowed, picked Sanders off once, 81 net passing yards allowed.
2nd down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Sanders throws, and it's incomplete.
But hey, man, they don't pick who they play and when, and the fact is they don't care. Plus, it means they could handle Tyrod Taylor in a similar manner. He's taking over for Justin Fields, who hits the bench after another dud. He threw for just 116 yards. He did run for 67 yards and a TD, but he hasn't generated 117 yards passing in 4 of his last 5 games. Has that flash feel to him. Yeah, you're fast, but still not sure if you belong in the Hall of Justice with the rest of the Super Friends.
To the end zone and knocked down. Pass a little short. Gonzalez was right there.
New York's offense 8 for 14 on third down versus New England, but only 2 trips to the red zone. Fewer than 15 points in 4 of their last 5 games. The late, great Mallory Archer would tell you that's how you get ants, and a 2-8 record.
3rd and 12. Fired over the middle, and that's incomplete.
So that was enough to go back to Tyrod Taylor this week. That moved the needle for anybody? Fields took 2 trips to face in the Grassville. Sure, it smells nice, but it makes doing your job right more difficult when you make that many trips to the NFL's dispensary. 36 sacks taken in 10 games. TJ Detweiler would tell you that whomps.
Fields under pressure, down he's going to go at the 15, setting up a 4th down.
Ravens haven't planted many quarterbacks this year, but they come off one of their best pass rush showings of the season. They got home 3 times versus Cleveland, came up with a healthy 10 quarterback hits.
Coming untouched for a sack. His 2nd of the season.
Ravens secondary only allowed 1 Browns pass catcher 50-plus yards. Cedric Tillman with 52 held everyone else under 30. Fields' throws last week produced 1 Jets pass catcher with 40-plus yards. Mason Taylor 4 targets, 30 yards. Jeremy Ruckert 23 yards. Adonai Mitchell 10 yards. John Mechie, the lone guy to crack 40 with 45 yards on 3 catches, hauled in Fields' lone TD.
Fields slides away, throwing, wide open, touchdown to John Mechie.
Jets standard rush attack, a Breece Hall production, 58 yards, 4.1 a carry versus the Patriots. He's been able to muster 58-plus yards in 6 of his last 7.
You're talking about Breece Hall. It's just a foot race for him to be able to get around the corner.
Ravens play versus running backs in 2025 hasn't been great, but they faced 17 Quinshon Judkins runs in their most recent win, held him to 3.5 per attempt.
Short to the line of scrimmage, the results have been there for Baltimore's defense.
That brings us to Derrick Henry. 5.7 a run last week, 103 yards and a TD.
1st down, Henry flying through. There goes Henry. Henry tripped up at the 10.
Henry has 100-plus yard games in 3 of his last 5. He went for 122, then 71, then 119, then 75, then 103. So a little ping-pong action. He made up for a rough Lamar Jackson showing. No touchdowns, 2 INTs last week.
Batted up in the air, and it is picked off. Intercepted by the Browns.
47.6 rate game from the guy who has the highest rating in the league. Baltimore's offense 23 points falls in that, okay, it could have been worse, 23 to 30 points in their last 4.
Zay Flowers, 2nd catch today, and Flowers picks up a 1st down.
Ravens just 1 for 4 in the red zone versus Cleveland, and Lamar got put down 5 times by the Browns pass rush, 4 at the hands of Myles Garrett.
Garrett has got him again. Number 3.
Jets don't have a Myles Garrett type. Their pass rush hasn't rushed many quarterbacks in 2025. Only 1 sack on 34 Drake May pass attempts week 11. They gave up more than 280 yards to May, a 100-plus rate, standard fare. They've allowed a 104 rate for 2025, so they've made plenty of signal callers feel good about themselves.
Caught on the run and falling down. Was he touched? Douglas.
Most games, Jets defense has been there for the taking. Gave up 27 points to New England in their latest loss, have given up 27-plus in 7 of 10 games this season.
2 defenders take digs, and it leaves a wide open Trevion Henderson.
Only receiver New York's corners are dealing with coming off a 33-plus yard game. It was yet another Zay Flowers and Friends outing. Flowers with 78 yards, 70-plus yards back-to-back outings.
He's able to find Zay Flowers on the corner, and he does the rest once he gets the ball in his hands.
Mark Andrews had that rushing TD with 32 receiving yards. And as for what Henry's up against, Jets did play New England tough down low at least. Yeah, they gave up 2 TDs to Travion Henderson, but held him to 3.3 a carry, puts their play against the run on the plus side of average for the season.
First down pitch back here, and a loss that time. Dearness Johnson, the ball carrier.
Ravens and Jets have met 12 times. Baltimore has won 10 of them, one of the most lopsided series in the game. New York won in 2016 and 1997, which was the first time they ever got together an OT production.
The Jets' watershed game came in Week 10 against the Baltimore Ravens. A cold November rain pounded down, and the Jets' offense could not seem to stay afloat. For the second straight game, Parcells called on Glenn Foley to ignite the team. The rain let up in overtime, but Foley did not, as he drove the Jets into field goal range for John Hall.
Jets and Ravens all tied up in overtime. This is for the win. Pats in the holder. The snap, the putdown, the kick is up, and it is good! Jets win! The Jets have sole possession of first place in the AFC East for the first time since Week 12 of the 1986 season.
It was a big step for the Jets, and a giant leap for their rookie kicker.
And we're trying to get this kid, out of his diapers and into his regular street clothes. And that's really what we're trying to do. And today, we took those Huggies off. Because that's a game winner. He took his Huggies off.
New Orleans Saints, 2 straight weeks without a loss, first time this year, so they come in hot and rested. And at home for round 1 with the Falcons, Atlanta hitting the road on a 5-game losing streak.
And Carolina has won.
Falcons a 3-win team, Saints a 2-win team, so this is to decide who gets to rep the bottom of the barrel in the NFC South. And Atlanta also lost Michael Penix and Drake London to injuries. Penix left last week with a hurt knee. He was having a nice game too, almost 11 yards per attempt, a 112 rate on 13 of 16 passing. Nonetheless, it's back to Captain Kirk. Cousins unable to steer the Atlanta Enterprise to victory, just 6 for 14 off the bench. Falcons offense just 4 for 11 on third down.
Cousins on a slant, and that's incomplete for London. He tried to thread it in.
Still, Atlanta put up 27 points. They've put up 25 plus back-to-back games. Bijan Robinson with a couple of touchdowns.
It's Robinson, and he breaks 2 tackles. Oh my!
Atlanta's shorthanded offense up against a Saints defense, giving up 25 points per game. On the Scooby Snack side of things, Kirk O'Chain's looking at a secondary giving up a 103 rate.
Throws wide open. McMillan, first down.
But to be fair, Saints defenders have had to put up with a lot of long shifts due to offensive ineptitude, holding teams to 5.1 yards per play. That's not on the high side. It's top 10 tough, in fact. More than 1 takeaway a game, too.
Ball is fumbled, and the Saints are on it.
Who will Cousins turn to without London? Tight end Kyle Pitts, just 14 yards versus Carolina. Darnell Mooney, 7 targets, 34 yards. Bijan, 39 receiving yards. Maybe just give him the ball 50 times this week. Had 104 along the ground last week, 4.5 a clip, and those 2 paint jobs.
Robinson, and an easy touchdown for the powerhouse Bijan Robinson.
Robinson has played well the last 2 games, was on the cool side for 3 games before that. Saints aren't easy to run on with Demario Davis back there, 91 tackles. Only 2 Cats had more at their bye. They're holding runners to a nice 4 yards per carry.
This guy is just one of the most underrated players in the National Football League.
Saints pass rush, a little over 2 sacks a game so far, not terrible. Carl Granderson with 4.5 bags, Chase Young with 3, Cam Jordan 3.5.
Close pressure, and Bryce Young is going to be thrown down and sacked for a second time.
Neither Cousins or Penix was reached at home last week. They only took 1 hit all game. The pass rush on the other side of the coin, much more notable. Atlanta unleashing its blitz-happy pass rush on New Orleans rookie Tyler Shough. It's been a rough year for Nola, but if Shough can build off his last outing, it would provide some hope for the future. He shined in their win over Carolina, throwing for over 280 yards, 2 TDs, a fat 128 rate, completed over 70% of his throws, over 10 yards per attempt. It was good stuff.
Goes deep down the sideline. And the catch is made, and taking it in is Chris Olave.
And now he goes after a secondary that just made Bryce Young look like a #1 overall pick, which hasn't happened much. He hadn't thrown for 200 yards in a game in 7 straight. They gave up 448 to him, career high, 3 touchdowns. They didn't pick him off, a 123 rate allowed.
Light rush for Atlanta. Bryce Young steps and throws. He's got it to McMillan.
Their rate allowed for the year now at 94, from weeks 4 to 11, have given up a 101 rate. They gave up a huge 54-yard pass to Tommy Tremble in OT, allowed 50-plus receiving yards to Rico Dowdle, 83 yards to Xavier Legette, 52 to Jalen Coker, and 130 and 2 TDs to Teteroa McMillan last week.
And McMillan does the rest so good, getting yards after the catch.
Corner Natron Brooks was tagged with 148 yards and a 145 rate, which would be great if he was a quarterback, not a cornerback. Chris Olave, the WR1 they'll try and slow this week. Olave, averaging 66 yards per game this year, went for 104 and a TD in Shough's mini breakout.
J.C. Horn was right with him until he zoomed past him with the football.
Aside from Olave, tight end Juwan Johnson, the only other pass catcher that New Orleans has, who's put up any kind of notable production this year, 49 yards per game, scored 3 times.
Will chuck it and throw, and it's Juwan Johnson for a Saints touchdown.
Shough to Olave did not lead to many points, unfortunately. They scored 17 in that win, which brought their season average up. Falcons defense staring at an offense averaging a meager 15 points a game. They've only cracked 20 points twice, topping out at 26. No team worse when they reach Scott Hansen's abode. He must make them nervous with all that Octobox talk.
Put your foot in the ground and get out there to take away the angle of the quarterback.
Shough has started twice, played significant snaps 3 times, 1 to 2 sacks taken in each game, so that hasn't been a problem yet. But now he gets the #2 blitzing defense in the NFL, took Young down 5 times in their latest OT loss.
When the draft came around, they needed some pass rush help. You see the long arms, continues to keep working at it.
That's 5+ sacks for Atlanta in 3 straight. Bagging quarterbacks has not led to fewer points scored, though. 30 given up to Carolina, 24+ their last 4 straight.
He gets 3rd touchdown reception of the season. Boy, the Panthers would love to get him going.
They did play the Panthers well enough on 3rd down and stopped them on 4 of their 6 red zone chances, and played Rico Dowdle well as a runner, held him to 2.4 per carry, just 45 rush yards.
It's a give, and it's Dowdle who is stacked up immediately.
The Saints' rush attack, a vanilla ice production this season. Alvin Kamara, 3.6 a carry, only 46 rush yards per game. Ice, ice, baby, too cold indeed.
And nothing for Kamara. But he got stoned by Derek Brown.
Check this out. 112 Saints-Falcons games ever played. 56 Saints wins, 56 Falcons wins. How's that for even, Steven? First ever meeting, 1967. What a good indicator of what was to become in this underrated rivalry.
The battle for NFL supremacy of the South, and the last home game for the Saints. But the 83,000 witnessed a horrible first half. But in the second half, some changes were made, and the drama to catch up was on. Fine blocking by Dale Williams and Roy Schmidt gave Schultz all the room he needed. This was the last score until late in the game, when the Saints again came alive. New Orleans trailed by 4 points and had 97 yards to go for a touchdown.
2 minutes and 17 seconds to play.
Kilmer had to throw, for there was too little time to run.
Get down now.
Arizona Cardinals at home this week. They've lost 7 of their last 8. They've been handed the hat of potential spoiler at this stage, which is the role they can play versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have won 2 of their last 3 to get back in the playoff convo.
The Jacksonville Jaguars as they pummel the Chargers.
Jags 6-4 and plenty to fight for. Cardinals, then Titans, before facing the Colts in what could be a monster tilt if they can take care of business the next couple of weeks. Their dominating win over the Chargers was especially impressive due to how many guys they were missing, yet still found a way to put up 35 points. That's 29 plus points in 3 straight, too.
Bangs his way in for the Jacksonville touchdown.
5 for 10 on 3rd down and 5 for 6 in the red zone against what was a top 10 scoring defense. Why not keep it rolling, to use the parlance of Duval, against an Arizona defense that's given up 40 plus points back-to-back weeks, 27 plus points allowed in 4 of their last 5.
And it's going to be contested, and Juwan Jennings does a great job battling to get that possession.
They allowed the 49ers to convert 4 of their 5 red zone chances, and they let Christian McCaffrey average over 6 yards a run. And remember, CMC is a sub 4 yard per carry guy this season. We bring that up because it was Jacksonville's rush attack that powered their Week 11 output. They punched in 4 TDs along the ground versus the Chargers. Travis Etienne scored twice, 73 yards. Trevor Lawrence scored down low, 5th of the year, and Bashal Tootin gave him 74 yards and a score, a nice 4.9 a carry. Jags with 192 rush yards in that win, second most they've had in a game this year.
Here's Tootin again. Tootin! Punishing hit.
47 rush attempts, that is of course a hefty figure, and Tootin joined the list of the injured when he left the game hurt, so yet another guy to track this week, along with the likes of Brian Thomas, Brenton Strange, etc. Jacksonville's passing attack rode in the back seat versus LA. Lawrence with 153 yards, a touchdown, a pick, an 80 rating. He's had a sub 81 rate 4 straight games now.
Slinging it, and that one wasn't picked. On the sideline, Dante Jackson.
Lawrence with less than 160 yards passing back-to-back weeks, a pick in 3 straight games now. Maybe it's the lack of weapons, maybe it's just him. He didn't suffer a single sack last week either, only got hit 3 times. Now he's onto an Arizona pass rush that only sacked Brock Purdy once, onto a secondary that laid out the welcome mat to Brock, letting him throw 3 touchdowns. They didn't pick him off, a 133 rate allowed.
Floats it back in the end zone. All alone is George Kittle.
It isn't a guarantee Lawrence will light it up, though. They're holding quarterbacks to a sub 90 rate and under 7 yards per attempt on the year, though their pass rush hasn't been a strength most games, only 19 sacks all season. They also gave up 40 receiving yards and a TD to CMC, 54 yards allowed to Juwan Jennings, 67 yards and 2 touchdowns to George Kittle. Jacoby Myers, the only Jag last week with more than 25 yards receiving, 64 on 5 catches.
Slinging it, he's got it, first down. Jacoby Myers.
Parker Washington, 20 yards. Tim Patrick, 20 and a score, so they'd love to get Thomas back soon. Arizona's offense, also missing its WR1 last week, didn't prevent Jacoby Brissett from letting it fly. Jacksonville's secondary dealing with the record holder for passes completed in a game ever. Brissett threw 57 times, completed 47 of them for over 450 yards.
Brissett hit as he throws, looking for Wilson on the sideline. What an adjustment, and what a catch!
2 touchdowns, that's 5 games in a row he's thrown for a pair. He did throw 2 picks, first time he's been intercepted since his first start. But the INT is Jacksonville's specialty. Picked off Justin Herbert once, that's 13 on the year, second most. No touchdowns allowed last week, just 81 yards, a 44 rate.
Herbert is picked, overshot his man. It's Antonio Johnson.
They did that without their top 3 corners in the game too. Brissett squaring off with a secondary holding quarterbacks to an 86 rate for 2025, just 6.7 yards per attempt, so it's been a strength. Defense as a whole hasn't always been. They'd given up 29-plus points to the 3 teams they faced before last week, which made it an ice cube day for them. Held the Chargers to 6 points, 3 for 12 on third down, only 1 red zone trip allowed. Don't need an AK when you do all that.
To the end of the first half, Herbert taking that hard hit, B.J. Green.
So they're hoping last week was the turning point. Arizona only came up with 22 points versus San Francisco, back-to-back weeks with 22, which is exactly what they average for the season.
Great position. I mean, this is a tight window. Look at the conversions right there by the defenders.
Cardinals ran for just 36 yards versus San Francisco. Meantime, Jacksonville held the Chargers to 42 rush yards, held Kamani Vidal to 13 yards, 2.6 an attempt. Their DBs did give up 41 yards to tight end Oronde Gadsden, 53 yards allowed to Keenan Allen. Now they take on a dude who just racked up 185 yards. Michael Wilson caught 15 passes last week, both career highs, of course.
Over the middle, open, and it's Wilson leaping up to make the catch.
Trey McBride caught 10 passes for 115 yards and a touchdown. Back-to-back 100-yard games for him. Has a 5-game scoring streak going.
End zone fits it in for the touchdown to Trey McBride.
Greg Dortch chipped in 66 yards as well, a season high.
The release valve, and Dortch weaving his way for a first down and yanked down.
That's a spooky stat line, though. Brissett threw 57 times, wasn't sacked once. That's crazy, especially when you consider he had taken 5 to 6 sacks in each of the previous 3 games. It was the 49ers who have the fewest sacks in the league, but the Jags pass rush is a neighbor of theirs, so coming up with 3 in a game is kinda like freaking brothers like MJ to them. Plus, Josh Allen Hines had 1, making him the Jaguars' all-time bagman, so need to give him his due.
Hines Allen gets to Herbert, and there's the record for Hines Allen.
And finally, the laundry. Jacksonville only got penalized once last week. Arizona apparently flag football ambassadors. I know they're trying to pump it up for the Olympics, but come on. They were flagged 17 times versus San Francisco. Maybe too short was the head ref.
For an Arizona touchdown! There is a flag down, however.
You know, he was telling them to blow the whistle. Jaguars and Cardinals fans absolutely loathe each other. So much bad blood with the history between the two. Hopefully extra security is on hand. If you've been to an Arizona-Jacksonville game, you saw what amounts to a 4-leaf clover. They've played just 6 times all time. Cardinals have beaten the Jags 4 straight. Jacksonville won the first 2, the first in 2000.
Excuse me, are the Jaguars going to win today? By now, even Mr. Ed knew how the Jaguars were winning. First, they leveled enemy ball carriers. Then, they gave the ball to Fred Taylor.
Toss sweep, Taylor running to the right, looking for blocks. Here he goes, and he is going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Fred Taylor. It was almost matter of fact.
Next, Mark Brunell made a few plays with the help of his talented receivers.
Brunell under pressure, turns and heaves, and he's got McCardell at the 5. McCardell turns inside. Touchdown, Ethan McCardell.
But the day belonged to Fred Taylor. He turned in his 8th consecutive 100-yard rushing performance and would add another before he was done. It was more than a Jaguars team record. It was the 3rd longest streak in league history.
Smith's got him at the 40. Smith inside. There he goes. He's across the field. Into foot race 40. Smith 30. Smith 20. Smith 10. 5. Touchdown. 65 yards. Jimmy Smith races to the end zone.
At 7-7 and playing their best, the Jaguars were back to 500 with 2 games remaining.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers make the long trip west again. Went pretty well the last time they did it. They're trying to snap a 2-game losing skid, which won't be easy, being they take on the kings of the NFC. No team better in the conference than the Rams. LA hits this one on a 5-game win streak.
Bootleg, Stafford has Parkinson. Colby Parkinson breaks a tackle and another for a touchdown.
Man, the Bucs' schedule has been something else, starting with Week 4. Eagles, Seahawks, 49ers, Lions, Saints, Pats, Bills, and now the Rams, whose defense is second in points per game allowed and whose offense is riding the hot hand of Matthew Stafford.
Stafford has Adams this time. It's a touchdown.
Not a ton of points or yards in their heavyweight bout, but remember, Seattle's defense is top shelf this year. Last 7 games, Stafford with 22 touchdowns, not a single INT. He leads the NFL with 27 tutties after throwing for 2 more versus Seattle.
Fires downfield. It is caught. Touchdown.
Seahawks defense held them 6 points under their season average, Hawks holding teams to 19 a game. Bucs defense just gave up 44 to Buffalo, now giving up 25 a game for the year.
Josh Allen, they're going to push him in. Pay dirt.
Luckily, Tampa Bay doesn't have to worry about Stafford running. They gave up 3 rushing TDs to Josh Allen, also gave up 3 passing TDs to him, over 300 yards on over 10 yards per attempt, a 104 rate.
He's going to toss it downfield. Open man. Caught by Shavers. Touchdown, Bills!
They did take the ball away 3 times, picked Allen off twice, but their pass rush didn't make it home to him once. They have a solid sack total, too. Won't be easy to get to Stafford either. Didn't take a single sack versus a Seattle pass rush, top 5 in QB takedowns, and he hasn't taken many all year.
That's what high-level quarterback looks like in this league. And
not hurrying Allen made it tough on Tampa's DBs. They gave up 61 yards and a touchdown to running back Ty Johnson, 66 yards and a TD to James Cook, 40 yards to Gabe Davis, 90 yards and a touchdown to Tyrell Shavers, and now they try and cover Puka and Devontae Adams with just 1 catch on 8 targets versus the Hawks, a 1-yard TD. Nakua, the only Ram with more than 24 yards in that win, 75 on 7 catches.
Makes the adjustment, and he's inbounds.
Stafford's been into tight ends in recent games. Tyler Higbee just 23 yards last week, Colby Parkinson 14. Kyron Williams only thrown to twice, handed off to 12 times, made the most of them. A touchdown, 91 yards, 7.6 per John.
They run it with Williams, and he's got a touchdown. LA finally cracks through.
Williams on a nice 3-game run, 73+ yards and at least a score in each outing. Bucs better than average versus the run in 2025. Against James Cook, who is top tier this season, held him to 3 per run.
James Cook, but again, Tampa Bay pressing the issue, no gain.
Still, Buccaneers defense has work to do. Playing the running back well doesn't do any good if you don't play anyone else well. And despite scoring 32 points versus Buffalo, which should be enough to win a game, only Sean Tucker can really boast about his Week 11 performance, and he's the primary reason Tampa Bay scored as many points as they did.
And he's got his man in stride. Sean Tucker breaks away for the touchdown. What a day for Sean Tucker.
That was the first time in 4 games the Bucs put up more than 23 points. Tucker drove the bus. 28-yard receiving touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, 106 yards on the ground, 5.6 a carry.
Tucker in the backfield, give it to him, and Tucker has got it for the touchdown. Monster day for Sean Tucker.
Rashad White looked good too, 51 yards on his 10 attempts.
Here's White. White takes it to the second level and beyond.
202 yards on the ground. Baker Mayfield with 39 and a score as well.
Mayfield, he's going to run it in for the touchdown, and Mayfield chucks it into the crowd.
Chance Bucky Irving is back this week too. He's practicing again, so maybe a stable of runners. Buffalo allowing 5.4 a carry, second most. The Rams holding rush attacks to 3.9 a run, which is what they held Seattle to in their win. Put the clamps on Seattle's high-scoring offense, limiting them to 19 points.
Kenneth Walker gets blown up by Nate Landman.
Man, you talk about an underrated signing.
Only the Texans are holding teams to fewer points per game, and the secondary Baker is looking at couldn't come in hotter. They gave Sam Darnold the sixth sense again, picking him off 4 times, no touchdowns allowed.
Darnold in trouble. Jump throw intercepted for the 4th time.
LA did give up 273 yards to Darnold, 44 to Kenneth Walker, 70 to AJ Barner, and 105 to Jackson Smith-Njigba. No sacks from their front on 44 pass attempts. Back-to-back games without one, only one in their last 3 excursions. Weird with that front 4 of theirs. Baker only sacked once by Buffalo, 28 pass attempts, still is in rebound position, a 72 rating game last week, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, only 173 yards.
Intercepted! It gets picked off by Bishop.
He's been in a funk lately, sub 81 rate games in 3 of his last 4. Might get Chris Godwin back. He's also practicing again. Have to wait and see. Only 2 Bucks cracked 40 yards versus the Bills. Emeka Egbuka with 40 exactly.
Big hit. Egbuka takes it forward. Progress will leave him a yard shy.
Egbuka has cooled off as well. Sterling Shepard led the team last week with 54 yards.
Goal range, Mayfield. That's a long pass, and it's hauled in by Shepard. First down, Buccaneers.
Rams, Bucks. LA has won 8 of the last 10 matchups. They met in the 2021 playoffs, one of 3 postseason meetings between the two. 1979 season, the first. Winner goes to the final dance. They didn't want to tire the scoreboard guys' fingers out too much in that one.
For the 5th time in 6 years, the Rams appeared in the NFC Championship game. For the first time, they won it, inspired by the presence of Captain Jack Youngblood, playing in pain with his broken leg.
Split left!
Tough as they were on Ricky Bell and company, the defense was even stronger against the pass. Tampa Bay quarterbacks completed only 4 of 27 all day. The offense consisted of short passes to the setbacks and 2 tight ends, Terry Nelson and Charlie Young. In a game without touchdowns, 3 Frank Corral field goals were the difference in a 9-0 shutout that wasn't as close as the score would indicate.
The Rams are on their way to Pasadena. The Rams are in the Super Bowl, and they're heading back to California as NFC champions.
This makes for a nice Monday night football game all of a sudden. Carolina heading west, a game out of first in the NFC South. Their quarterback looking the part of a #1 overall pick last week.
Light rush for Atlanta. Bryce Young steps and throws. He's got it to McMillan. Touchdown, Carolina.
6-5 Panthers taking on the 7-4 49ers in San Francisco. The Niners offense almost fully equipped again.
Purdy floats it back in the end zone. All alone is George Kittle. 50th touchdown catch of his career.
Little Mac is cool, but football is like so many other aspects of life where size matters. Like in the NBA, you have to be tall. So having BCB back was big for San Francisco's O-face. Brock Purdy threw for 3 touchdowns in his return from injury, no picks, a 133 rate. That's fat in the right way.
Here's Purdy, McCaffrey all alone. He'll walk in for a touchdown.
49ers offense blew up for 41 points, a season high. Their key stars, 8 for the most part, converted 4 of 5 red zone chances.
Blockers in front, breaks a tackle, touchdown, Christian McCaffrey, the cherry on top.
That's 26 plus points, 3 straight games too. Can they make it 4 in a row versus Carolina's defense? They're sitting on a 22 point per game average. That's solid. They did give up 27 last week to Atlanta, had trouble trouble with Bijan and Drake London.
It's Robinson, and he breaks 2 tackles. Oh my, what a rugged run that was.
Panthers secondary didn't play the pass great, didn't play Michael Penix great at least, handled Kirk Cousins fine, but allowed the starter to complete 13 of his 16 attempts, a 112 rate, gave up close to 11 yards per attempt.
And London somehow reels it in.
Purdy does not face a fierce pass rush either. Both these two teams are trying to keep quarterbacks healthy in 2025 apparently. Ironic, Carolina knocked Penix out. They have 16 sacks on the year, didn't sack either Penix or Cousins once. Purdy only got put down once on 26 pass attempts, used the time to reunite with George Kittle, 2 scores, led the team with 67 yards.
It's caught! Touchdown! San Francisco! I'm thinking he's back.
Kittle has scored 3 of his last 4 games, 67-plus yards back-to-back outings. Juwan Jennings, 50-plus yards in his last 2, 54 yards on 4 catches versus Arizona.
So the pass juggled and caught by Juwan Jennings.
Carolina's DBs primarily struggled with Drake London, 119 yards allowed to him, and they had trouble with Bijan Robinson, allowed him 39 receiving yards plus 104 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 4.5 a carry.
Atlanta here goes to Robinson and an easy touchdown.
So good thing they don't have to face another dual threat running back this week, right? CMC only had 40 receiving yards and a receiving TD last week, just 81 yards rushing on 6.2 a carry and 2 rush TDs. That hardly qualifies as dual threat.
From the 1, McCaffrey, a jump cut and in for a touchdown.
Should be noted, seeing McCaffrey hit at over 4 yards per carry this year, almost as rare as seeing a Bryce Young #1 overall pick game, which Keep Pounding fans saw last week. Welcome to the show, Mr. Young. 448 yards, 10 yards per attempt, a 123 rate, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
And Young gets it away for Coker. It's a first down.
No one has ever seen Young throw for that many yards ever. Propelled Carolina's offense to 30 points.
Young keeps it, slings it into traffic right at the goal line, and McMillan is in. It's a touchdown, Carolina into a...
Had gone 4 straight with 16 or fewer, and they only converted 6 of 17 third down chances last week, just 2 for 6 in the red zone, so lots to clean up. But they came up big 3 of 5 times on 4th down. How often do we get to see this, though? A quarterback coming off a 440-plus yard game, taking on a secondary that gave up 440-plus yards. Niners let Jacoby Brissett complete 47 of 57 passes, 47 completions, the most any quarterback has ever completed in a game in the 100-plus years of NFL play.
Over the middle, open, and it's Wilson leaping up to make the catch.
Facing 57 pass attempts is nuts, and they did pick him off twice. They held Arizona to 22 points, respectable range.
Over the middle, and it is intercepted. Malik Mustafa
held Arizona to 22, which is their season average. No sacks of Brissett on 57 chances. Would be crazy, save the 49ers are last in sacks. Made it easy for Brissett to complete all those passes. Niners secondary gave up 60-plus yards to 3 guys. They accounted for 360-plus yards. Greg Dortch, 66 yards and a TD. Trey McBride, 115 and a score. And they gave up 185 yards on 15 catches to Michael Wilson. No rest for the weary. Tatora McMillan rolls in off a 2 TD game, 8 catches, 130 yards.
Great catch into space, Tatora McMillan, the rookie out of Arizona.
The Rook up to 748 yards on the year now. Tommy Tremble had a "I'm a man, I drive a Dodge Stratus" 54-yard catch to set up the game winner.
Tremble breaks away. Tommy Tremble inside the 15. That is a nasty catch and run.
Xavier Legette had 83 yards and a TD, second most yards he's had this year.
Another deep shot down the left side. He drops it in for Legette.
Legette's 3rd touchdown reception of the season.
And Rico Dowdle pulled in 55 yards through the air out of the backfield.
Dowdle down the sideline. Rico Dowdle on the gas pedal. Oh, that is really close.
Dowdle struggled on the ground, 45 yards, 2.4 a run. Back-to-back games under 3 a carry, too. 49ers front barely faced any runs last week, 14 of them. Held things in check to the tune of 2.6 a carry. Got their season average against runners down to a healthy 4.1.
They'll try the ground game with DeMercado, and he lunges forward for 2.
Couple of former NFC West rivals. Panthers with a 13-10 lead over the Niners overall. This is a playoff rematch. They met up in the divisional round in 2013.
A gritty goal line stand was evidence of the 49ers' defensive dominance against Carolina.
Now they go for it with Newton under center. And Newton's going to keep it. Surge straight ahead. Does he get in? Now they signal 49er ball. He didn't get it. He didn't get it. Kaepernick turns, going to play fake to Gore, rolling to his right, looking back in the end zone. Vernon Davis covered. Now he throws it, and Vernon doesn't catch it. He goes out the backside of the end zone, incomplete. But that's got to be reviewed from the booth.
The receiver controlled the ball, had a right foot in, and dragged to the left foot. It is a touchdown.
And they're going to fake. Kaepernick's going to keep it outside left, cuts it up, and runs it in for the 49er touchdown. For the 3rd consecutive year, the San Francisco 49ers will play for the NFC Championship.